Good morning, everyone.
Good
Hi.
morning.
Hello.
Mm,
Well, it's a good evening for you, Avideh,
yeah.
because you are in the Netherlands. So thank you for joining us all the way from the Netherlands this evening for you. I'm gonna just welcome everyone to the dossier today. Today we have Avideh Mo. I'm gonna mess it up. Motmaenfar.
Motmaenfar, yeah.
Motmaenfar.
Yeah.
Motmaenfar.
Yeah.
Okay. Who was a 2024 Conservative nomination candidate for MP in Oakville West. She is an osteopathic manual practitioner and president of the Council of Iranian Canadians. Council of
Iranian.
Iranian Canadians. Sorry, not enough coffee yet today. I'm gonna rectify that. And then, and most importantly for us, is you are like the most incredible ally to the Jewish and Israeli community. We met you, through that advocacy work, and through your journey into Judaism. So I think we're going to cover a lot of wonderful things today. But good morning, and tell us a little bit, maybe to start off with, about where you are and what you're doing there.
Well, right now I'm visiting my daughter, who is a student in the Netherlands. So I've been here for a good week. This is my second week, starting today. I'll be here still a week, and then I come back home. Um, following the news on Iran and trying to talk to whoever I can. And yesterday I gave a talk to a group of people it was an event also on Zoom that was organized by the Jewish Lawyers of Canada. It
Yeah.
was a very interesting talk. I do not miss any opportunity to talk about Iran because right now, what is important is that we keep reminding the world that violence hasn't stopped on Iranian people. Hundreds and thousands are detained and receiving death sentences, and many families, thousands, tens of thousands have been killed. And although it's very difficult to have the right numbers, but many sources with cross-examination of different sources, many agree that the number is about 30,000 people who have been, I don't know,
Horrific. Yeah.
this is a number that I cannot fathom. It is unbelievable that that number of people have been killed. This is the biggest number of people who have been killed since World War II. I don't know if people realize that, and that number of people in just 2 days. The timing of that many people being killed
I can't even imagine that. I can't imagine it.
is just in my talk yesterday, I gave a history of all the atrocities that the Islamic Republic has committed since the inception, since the next day when they took power in Iran. They started by killing people. This regime has been on a killing spree since uh, February 1979 up to this date. And as we speak, every time I check into my social media, I see the news of somebody who has been hanged or executed in the aftermath of all the killings that they have already done on the streets. So it's
Do you still have family there? How are you doing? How's your family
uh,
doing?
yes, I have extended family in Iran, and for a very long time, because I think it was 3 weeks that The internet was shut down, and we couldn't. I was living in that nightmare that when I receive actually news from my extended family, they're gonna tell me that somebody has been killed in the protests. Um, this is the case of so many people in the diaspora. Everybody has someone in back home in Iran, and everybody is living with that permanent stress. It is inhuman what is going on, what this regime is doing to its own people and to the Iranians who are in the diaspora. We are not immune, even being in another country, because we cannot breathe actually, not knowing what is happening to our brothers and sisters back home. So
So
it
I
are
is.
can
are
understand
you
that.
in touch with your family now?
I had received some news. Some people have been capable of, checking in with Starlink, and but it has been very brief. Sometimes they can connect to the internet, sometimes they can't, and even the phone communications are very, very difficult because they are jamming, because landlines basically don't exist anymore anywhere, and cell
Now,
phones are being jammed, and the scale of violence at every level, any possibility that this regime has to impose violence. They kill even dogs in Iran. Like this regime is a psychopathic, criminal entity. I don't even have enough words to describe what they do and what they are.
You
It's
know,
just.
is there any sense that there's any resolution on the horizon, that there is anything, like any leadership arising, any
Yes.
sense of hope, any sense of that some action could be taken that might resolve this situation?
Well, people in Iran are calling upon President Trump to help them, because they all say, any contact I had, they all said from Iran that without a foreign help of some kind, they would not survive this. They would not be able to. Well, they will. I believe that they will, but the human cost of it would be way bigger than what it is right now. Either the Western countries help us getting there, or people of Iran would get there with or without help, but everything would reside in the number of casualties. I am sure that this psychopathic regime would continue to crack down. They have brought Iranian people from the security forces. They have defected. So many of them have defected, and they didn't show up to crack down on their brothers and sisters. And the Islamic Republic brought their Iraqi proxies. We saw many, many cars crossing the border. There was a video on the social media that these Iraqi proxies that they have been maintaining since the war in Iraq with the United States. So they brought in, the regime has brought in foreign entities to.
foreign players, yeah.
And,
Like like
and there are some people in the West, when we talk about intervention, they are all over the place. They are insulting President Trump, that he wants to go to war with Iran, and the usual narratives. But President Trump didn't want to go to war with the Iranian people. If he intervenes militarily, or when Israel intervened, they didn't kill Iranian people. They
No.
destroyed the IRGC bases. The strike was on the oppression apparatus of the regime and their nuclear threats to the world. So yeah, people in Iran are demanding help. They are demanding some kind of intervention because then that would help them. Because otherwise, how do you want unprotected, unarmed people uh,
Yeah.
in peaceful protest? How they are supposed to overthrow a regime that is using military grade weapons, bringing in people who don't emotionally feel anything about Iranians and are ready to, shoot people without even blinking. How are we supposed to fight against that? Of course, they are going to commit more massacre, and 200 children have been massacred in this protest in 2 days. Women, men, we saw circulating videos of a woman who was beaten up to death, thrown on the ground and hit by a machete or something like that. Like, how are you supposed to watch that? And you know,
Oh, you know what? We're right there with you, Avideh. We are with you. We're standing with you. If we could, we would hold you. Now, what you've said, I have two questions just to refocus. Any sense from your family there that they have confidence that the Americans are going to intervene? Because I feel like Trump has been saying he's on his way for some time now, and now he's talking tariffs on any countries that aid the IRGC.
I believe that President Trump is somebody who respects his own words. He has done that before, so I want to believe that he would. I think that he's playing definitely politics with the Iranian regime. The Iranian regime as I said, is a psychopathic entity. You don't want to show your hands what you are going to do against them, of course.
Mhm.
So I believe that President Trump would intervene. What I don't think that he wants to do is to enter a war with in the region that would linger for whatever reason. He wants to go in, strike efficiently, and
And
give
get out.
power to the hands of people and get out. Otherwise, why would he bring half of the American army to the region?
Right.
The Lincoln um, uh,
The aircraft carrier.
Yeah.
that cost $300,000 per hour.
Yeah.
Like, why would they, mobilize that many, um, American army forces to do nothing? I think that there is a reason they wanted to, from the perspective of American people as well. He needs to make difficult decisions because. Um, he needs to be accountable to the Americans also if they ask, like, why did he attack Iran? So I think that um, before doing, at least trying by diplomacy, he would not be able to justify attacking the IRGC forces in Iran.
I guess it remains to be seen how much of what he's doing is brinksmanship or saber rattling and how much is actually will actually be followed through. But I mean, anything that we say is going to be pure speculation. My next question to you is you mentioned something about threats in Canada. Are you receiving any threats from IRGC operatives in Canada? Have they approached you or?
Uh, that's a long story. I personally have been receiving death threats for the past 15 years.
Wow.
Wow.
Uh,
Really?
really,
Like our friend Raheel Reza, we saw her yesterday actually, and a while ago we made it public that she was receiving uh quite a bit of threats from the IRGC for her work. Um, but 15 years is a long time to be receiving death threats.
absolutely. it has been constant because I have always been outspoken person about the regime and what they were doing, even if when there was nothing necessarily
Yeah.
happening to for the media or ordinary people to talk about, but we have always been trying to. As I said, I can give you a history of all the atrocities that this regime has been doing. If it wasn't, they were not involved in a proxy war in the region. They would plot a bombing of a Jewish center, of a Jewish building, of somewhere in the world, as they did
Yeah.
in Argentina, as they did blow up, trying to blow up something in a building in. Saudi Arabia or attacking Israel, like they have always been active to wreak havoc somewhere in the world.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we have always been very outspoken about the violations of human rights on Iranian people, all the people that they would imprison. Every time that Iranians rose up to
I've read a
protest.
lot of books about it, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, every
Yeah.
time they have arrested people, they have tortured people, they have killed people on the streets to crush the protests. It's the history of this regime is full of atrocities, and we have never. I cannot remember a time in my life that I haven't been outspoken about this regime and trying to be the voice of the voiceless people in Iran because I believe that I had some kind of, thank God, opportunity in my life not to be in that country and to be submitted to that much violence. And so I take it as I have this moral imperative for
Yeah.
myself to
It's your
to be
calling.
the
Yeah.
voice, to call out whatever I can, and I have all like the reason I founded the Council of Iranian Canadians was also to for the Iranian diaspora to in Canada to have a voice, to have the real voice of those who are
Yeah.
opposed to all these atrocities of this regime. We never wanted to uh, our other Canadians to think that we are the same as the Iranian regime. So we
Yeah.
had to
Yeah.
Sure.
prove
So
Hold
I
guidance.
on,
have a
Ty.
couple questions. Go ahead,
I have
Revi.
a question.
Sure.
Um, a lot of the people that watch our YouTube videos and our social media are women.
Mhm.
And I think that there is a lack of understanding as to the life of a woman in Iran versus the life of a woman in Canada. I don't think people really understand when you see all of these people out on the streets protesting, right now, to honor in honor of the regime. These women that are out there protesting clearly do not understand what life is like. Can you talk to us about life as a woman in Iran?
Well, that's a very, very interesting and very important point. Women have been the first victims of the violence of the Iranian regime. As soon as they took over the country, women who were judges in Iran were out of jobs because in the Islamic law that what they did basically they rewrote the constitution based on Sharia law rather than the common law that we had before, based
Yeah.
on democracies around the world. So what happened is that according to the constitution of the Islamic Republic, a woman is considered basically half a man. If you have a brother, you are a sister and brother in Iran, and your father dies, and you inherit, the inheritance would be not half and half, distributed between the two brother and sister. The brother would receive twice as much as the sister. This is according to the law. If you divorce and you lose the custody of your children, even though your the reason you're divorcing is because your ex-husband is a drug addict or a, or a whatsoever, uh, totally incapable of taking care of children, but the woman lose custody
Automatically.
automatically.
Oh my God, that's so
You
horrific.
cannot travel as an Iranian woman. You cannot travel if you're married without the knowledge and
Permission.
permission of your husband. If you don't have a husband, it would come to your father, your brother, your uncle. If you don't have a brother or father, even your uncle has more to say than you as a woman. So this is definitely absolutely barbaric laws that are a woman cannot reach the highest office in Iran. You can be the most accomplished person, but the highest rank that you can have eventually to become a so-called minister who has nothing to say and is just there as a puppet for the Islamic Republic to say that they actually respect women.
So
That
women can go to
is,
school. You can go to school. They're
yes, you
just
can go to
not, they don't
school.
have,
Fortunately, they haven't been able to crack down as much, but they have always, at the same time, they have always promoted the idea that to be an ideal woman, you are supposed to take care of your children, to stay home,
yeah.
to if it's your choice, nobody is against it. But if you are forced to, that's the problem.
Yeah. And what about the hijab? So, or the
Jobs
cover
is
hair coverings.
definitely every woman in Iran, even if you are Jewish, if you are Christian, if you are fall or atheist or whatever, if you are not Iranian even, every woman that set foot on the Iranian soil has to wear the hijab, which is crazy. To when you look at it, but yeah, definitely they started everything with these kind of things, and little by little they gained more terrain and imposed more restrictions to the life of women. But despite women are very educated, um, the majority of women, I would say, have high education degrees, even if they didn't have the opportunity to use it or to work, but at least they went to school. Uh, but definitely, the life of a woman in Iran has nothing to do with the life of anybody in any other country. It's definitely full of restrictions and.
So, do you get a sense that this particular revolution, this uprising, is different than all the ones that came before?
Absolutely. I have no shred of a doubt that this time is a very, very different story. As I said, we have always been following Iran every single day. There is not a single day in my life that I haven't followed the news and what's going on in Iran. And this time, from the beginning, we have never seen such a thing. This is unprecedented in terms of number of people who took to the street. It has been unprecedented in terms the violence also that has been inflicted upon them. But it all started. There are four differentiator. Number one was that the whole protests were triggered by an economic issue. The currency collapsed, the traditional bourgeoisie bazaar, the market that controlled practically the whole trade and commerce of the country collapsed because of the collapsing currency. They couldn't do any business, so they closed doors and they took it to the street. And because there are so many issues in Iran, as soon as there is something triggering a protest, the protest becomes it morphs into a very political movement. And this time, because everybody were ready, like everybody were ready to take it to the street, and they were waiting for a trigger to do that. And the biggest, I would say, the biggest differentiator this time, in my opinion, and in many other people who think the same, is the fact that people have asked the crown prince to lead this movement. Every time before, we didn't have a leader for any movement that would trigger, and the regime would take advantage of that and crush it very, very easily, because people didn't have anybody to look up to. But this time, the crown prince has been asked, prior to this event, even, to lead the country to a haven, and to a fundamental change, and to be there to transition the country to another, whatever is that people would choose as a ruling system and governance system. Either it's a monarchy that they want, or if it's republic that they want. All these things, it's a discussion for later. Right now, we need to overthrow this criminal regime, and liberate our people from the clutches of this regime, who is basically misallocated the resources of the country for 47 years toward maintaining proxies in the region, sponsoring terrorism, paying off all these terrorists, plotting assassinations of Iranian dissidents abroad, and crushing people inside. So everything has been in 47 years, they have done nothing. They misallocated, mismanaged the country completely, and that's the result. That's why the currency collapses, and that's why people are getting
100%. I
poor
think
and
a lot of
poor.
money has gone to funding terrorism in Israel and to chucking missiles at Israel. But um, I mean, my sense is that they're looking for, in the immediate, sort of a benevolent rule of law, monarchic democracy, and then move on from there. But my next question is, how's the women's movement in this particular uprising? Like, are women more unified? Are women more violent? Are women more like, what are the women doing?
They are definitely leading. We have seen videos. Women are not sitting at home. They have joined the protests, and yeah, they are everywhere. They have been killed. They have been tortured. They have been. We saw so many horrible videos that came out
Yeah.
of Iran, that they have been, the reason they have been so brutally cracked down on the streets of Iran is because they were there, and they were leading, and they were encouraging people to protest. No, women in Iran are definitely, one thing that I can say, that this regime has definitely been unsuccessful to do, has been to fight with women.
It's
Women,
hard to do.
despite everything,
Yeah.
I love that.
despite everything that this regime has done to them, they have been leaders in encouraging and pushing for change, um, simply because they have been the first victim and the constant victim of
Yeah.
I
this
mean,
situation.
women, life, freedom, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely,
So you wrote,
that
yeah.
movement could have been, if it wasn't for lobbyists of the Islamic regime in the West, if it wasn't for people to understand that Iranians need some kind of international intervention to be able to go forward. They can take it to some point, but from the time that the regime start cracking down on them, we need to have all eyes on Iran, and the regime has always proven that when the international scrutiny on Iran has been really intense, they have been uh, cracking down less on people of Iran because they wanted to
Yes.
show that they are good people and they are not as they are not a terrorist regime.
Well,
But as
hopefully
soon
a
as the
hundred
regime,
thousand, hopefully 100,000 Canadian Iranians marching down Yonge Street will keep the
Outside
Canadian
my door,
population.
basically. I
Yeah,
live I live in Richmond Hill, and they're all right outside my neighborhood.
right. Hopefully
Abide,
that'll keep all eyes on Iran. But can we talk a little bit more about you? Because you, I understand, are a very strong woman who have been on a revolution of your own and your own path and your own journey of discovery. So can we talk a little bit about that?
sure. I think I have since my childhood. I think I was very drawn to Judaism in some sort. I couldn't understand what was that I was feeling. For example, whenever I heard a prayer in Hebrew, it felt as if my cells, my DNA knows that or have heard that before, or it was familiar without being familiar. I was born in a very secular family. We were not religious at all. I had no education, religious education whatsoever. But I grew up among Christians and Catholics mostly. So whatever my idea of the West and religion was Catholic Christianity. But in myself, I always been drawn to Hebrew, even as a language, and I learned Hebrew on my own. I took classes with and my friends. I'm the kind of person you put me in a city where I don't know anybody. We can be sure that the first person I would start communicating and befriending someone would be somebody of the Jewish community. So I don't know what it has been, but I have always felt that appeal and that calling. And I started the journey in back in 2016. But many things happened. I was working a lot. I couldn't commit really to the time that a conversion would need to to go to the classes, to be always present at the synagogue on Saturdays. So finally. I did it. I found the time and to commit and to learn and to go through the this journey. So here I am, and I all that time I really felt Jewish. I always had this very close connection with Israel and with the Jewish community. And back in Belgium, where I grew up and lived and worked before coming to Canada, 90% of my friends were Jewish, 90% of my clientele was Jewish, and I came to
wow.
Canada, I didn't know a single person. And the first person who became my best friend was Jewish. So uh, that's
Well, they say
testimony
that the
to
soul of a person who converts
you.
was a Jewish soul.
Yeah,
So,
that's exactly how I feel this. I have heard some other people who converted, and they said, oh, they had a good experience with somebody from the Jewish community, somebody who was Jewish, helped them in their lives, and that the connection,
yeah.
that kind of connection didn't feel deep enough for me. But you can have any kind of connection. But for me, it was like it was so deep. So as I said, I felt it in my cells, in my like the morning Kaddish, when I heard it, like it was as if I could recite it in my head without having learned it any time. You know,
Wow.
it just
Wow.
that kind of I felt I can say it. I can and
Yeah.
it's not even Hebrew. It's older than Hebrew, and I
It's actually
know.
in Aramaic. Yeah.
Yeah,
You
and
know, I've heard that story before, and it's such a compelling story. Like I've spoken to somebody who converted, and the first time they were ever in a synagogue, they were 13, and they got invited to somebody's bar mitzvah, and they walked into the synagogue, and they just had this powerful,
Wow.
overwhelming, like almost like an epiphany feeling that they were in the right place for the first time in their lives, and they went on to convert. It's such a compelling.
this is
Right?
how
It's
I
so
feel.
compelling. It's such a powerful story. And it really does, it does underline that fact that all the Jewish souls, the idea is that all Jewish souls were at Mount Sinai when we received the Ten Commandments and the Torah. And that souls who convert, people who convert, just their souls got lost a little bit along the
Yeah.
way.
Mixed up.
But we
Yeah.
all come back and we all come back because we were all there. Hence I saw you at Sinai, right? Because we
I've
were
actually
there
never
and
heard
you were
that
there.
statement until
You were
now.
there. I was there. Reviewers, we were all
I'm a
there,
bad chick.
right?
Uh,
We were all at Sinai.
Avideh, you wrote an article in the National Post, I think it's about 2 weeks ago, maybe a week and a half ago. Uh, I just want to go back to that because I think that as Canadians, not even as Jewish Canadians, but just as Canadians, we come out and we protest with you and we march with you and we write about it and we share stuff on social media. But what else what can we do? You had a list of things that you felt that the Canadian government could do. Do we, call our MPs? What do we do to help? I think we just need a couple of really good tasks for our listeners to know how they can help.
Definitely. Well, there's a lot that even the Crown Prince has said that needs to be done, but Canada actually has already done some of those steps. We don't need to shut down the embassy because we have never had an embassy really since the inception of the Islamic Republic. We don't need to kick out the diplomats, but we need to. And the IRGC was already listed in Canada. Finally, after 6 years, that the motion passed at the Trudeau finally implemented that once it was the question of the by-election in Toronto that he wanted to influence the Jewish voters in
Yeah.
that riding. Thank God that has been done, which is a good step. But I'm not sure to what extent the law is being implemented or being enforced. Or the fact is that many elements of the Islamic Republic agents are operating in Canada still. It's a very good thing that they cannot monetize what they do anymore. Although I'm not even sure that they would not find a way to go around the sanctions and around the listing of the terrorist entity. But definitely calling the MPs, putting pressure. The prime minister did almost nothing after this massacre of Iranian people. He just wrote a tweet like they
Yeah.
didn't even like no government member or any other MPs reached out to us at the council saying, "Are you guys are okay? Can we do something for you?" Like nothing. The media was like deaf and didn't care. Like as you said, 100,000 people were blocking the streets of Toronto. Anything that would be anybody, CBC would send someone to see
Yeah.
what's happening. but no, because it was Iranians and allies were protesting there and so peacefully
Because it
that
wasn't ugly. Because it wasn't ugly. If it would have been ugly,
yeah,
then they would have sent somebody.
definitely. I realized that the death of thousands of Iranians in Iran is not sensational. It's their voice is inconvenient because it doesn't fit into the narrative that the West has created. That the oppressor must be somebody who is white and somebody who is not a Muslim. Now that a Muslim, country killing Muslim inside their own country, that narrative doesn't fit anywhere. Doesn't Everybody is confused and everybody
Yeah.
they hold their breath and they can't say anything because this is a parallel universe for them.
In
And
any country, that happens with any country where there's Muslims killing Muslims. Nobody pays attention to it.
yeah, it is
Yeah.
not, Israel cannot be blamed. So if Israel had caused a nosebleed to a child in Iran, we would have heard about it.
That's a very good point.
We can be
Yeah.
sure, we can be sure of it. Just compare the reporting of now with when Israel was attacking, striking on IRGC in Iran. You
Yeah.
would hear
Yeah.
every news. Then they knew exactly what was going on in Iran. But I asked one of the producer of CBC, why don't you cover Iran more? They said, well, we don't know what's happening. We don't have a correspondent. But I was like, well, you knew exactly what was happening in Gaza, or you knew exactly what was happening in Iran when Israel was involved. But you don't know what's happening in Iran now because there are proxies of Iranian regime killing our people. Like, what's happening here? Do you even hear yourself?
Yeah.
But I guess it is what it is. But I think that we cannot just sit back and silence is not an option. We need to fight. We need to hold them accountable. We need to put the pressure. If everybody, one thing that I know is that in the office of the prime minister, maybe they don't read everything, but they will count everything. So if there are thousands of letters that arrive or emails that are hitting the office, they know about it even if they don't read everything, but they will count everything that
Yeah.
arrives
Yeah,
to the
that's a good
office.
Okay,
So
point.
that is a
what are
very
we asking
important.
for? Are we asking, like, do you want military intervention? Are we asking for a crackdown on IRGC operatives in Canada? Are we
All of
just
the
asking
above,
for
all of
thoughts,
the above.
thoughts and prayers?
All of the above. I think it's everything that anybody can do. It's appreciated by the community, and because right now we feel betrayed, as the Jewish community felt betrayed after October 7th. It is exact same story. Then the pro-Palestine crowd were paid by mostly by the Iranian regime to wreak havoc in different countries. Now that their benefactor is not there to pay them to
Yeah.
protest against them, that would be nonsensical. So they are silent. That's and silence kills. Silence definitely is killing Iranians, and diplomatic talks and all these means and like geopolitical isolation of the country. All these things takes months and weeks, and Iranians don't have that time. They don't have the luxury of time. They have every day they are going to hang people. Every day they are going to now, as usual, in the aftermath of the killing on the streets, they arrest people and they start killing those that they have arrested. And we are going to, if we sit back and do nothing, if the Americans don't intervene, if Israel don't intervene, they are going to kill those kids. That's for sure. we are going, we know that. So there is no way to, nothing that would convince me otherwise. We know historically what they have done, and they are very consistent. The Islamic Republic is very predictable and very consistent. So when we know what they are going to do, why don't we do something against it? And as I said, putting pressure, any ways you can think of, to put pressure on our politicians, on our governments, on our media to talk about it, to speak up and to report and
Yeah, I
uh,
think pressure on the media is actually I was thinking about that,
Yeah.
about doing some sort of a petition or a letter writing, a program where campaign where we try to pressure Canadian media to cover it more, to tell Canadians what's going, because it's not, we're in an echo chamber, right? We're just a bunch of Jews, or a bunch of Iranians with a bunch of
oh,
Jews.
we
But
are
we need
definitely,
the rest of the people. We
yeah,
need all Canadians to know what's going on. And the only way that they're going to know that is if the media pays more attention to it. And so that's what we need to do.
I was very shocked, when everything happened. My patients would come in, and I know that there are people, very good people that I know for many years, and they are all very caring about me, but they literally didn't know what was going on in Iran.
Yeah,
And
we
when I
had the same
told them,
experience.
they were like shocked, and they said, Avide, like, this is crazy. Like, why didn't we know anything about it? I said, because the media is not covering it, because you open the television and you don't hear about it. So, of course, how can you know about it
That's
otherwise?
right.
And they said, well, thank you for now that you told us, we are going to pay more attention. So, I think that's the reason why we took it to the streets and everywhere in the world, in the major cities, everywhere. I was in Amsterdam Saturday to protest. I joined the protest wherever I go. Tomorrow I will be in Germany. I will join the protest if I see one. I will be in Belgium in a few days. I will definitely join the protest. It's like it is everywhere, and the biggest protest is happening next Saturday on February 14th in Toronto. So I implore everybody who cares about
Good to
Iranian
know.
people to join and have a bigger, louder voice for the Iranian people and to put pressure to for everyone to talk about it and not stop talking about it because
I think a big difference is, when Gaza, the Hamas health ministry was gleefully releasing their inflated numbers of people of casualties, and gleefully releasing, misinformation, which the Canadian news agencies and agencies around the world were happily just, regurgitating. But I think we absolutely need to call out the media. And if you're getting information from Iran, then there's absolutely no reason why they can't be. And, I think we need to hand them as much information as we possibly can.
absolutely. If you follow anybody, if you follow me on social media, you would get more
Yeah.
news
Yeah.
than CBC, who is operating with our tax money. Like this
Yeah.
is so unfair. Like, why there has been 100,000 Iranians who are paying their taxes. Why they don't get a fair
Yeah.
treatment by this media? Uh,
We could talk to you
Tell me
about fair
about it.
treatment in
Yeah,
the
you're singing our
media.
song.
uh, it's a big question, and they gave me 2 minutes of airtime on radio at 7 a.m. in the morning, where nobody is listening to the radio, or maybe some people in their cars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right after me, they brought in somebody who was advocating for the Iranian regime. I was so infuriated.
Really?
I was so And I couldn't say anything because my time was over. It wasn't a debate. And I wasn't even told who was coming after me. Otherwise, I would have spoken up about it. That she spoke as if the former king of Iran was on some kind of trial on CBC, instead of talking about the massacre of Iranian people in Iran. And like this is the level of propaganda that we get in return. Even if I'm called on CBC radio in the morning,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. It's no balance to it for sure.
absolutely no balance.
Avideh, I have to tell you, you are absolutely a warrior. And I pray that you don't stop yelling and you don't stop, even if we feel like we're yelling into the wind.
Mhm.
We're going to stand with you. You've given us our marching orders. We know what we need to do. We will try and mobilize as many people to put pressure on the media, to put pressure on our government. I just want to say that I am so full of awe and admiration for your ability to come on here and talk about these things that are so personal and so painful, and that are happening in real time. I just absolutely astonishing, and I really I hope that let's get this message out. Let's get people mobilized. And I want to thank you so much for coming on here and being so open.
Bring
And
me. I'm really appreciative of what you guys do and standing with us. And I was telling someone that I was um, I felt double, two times betrayed as a Jew and as an Iranian. So it's just we have each other, and we will stand together. And I thank you very, very much to mobilize the Jewish community and having me today.
And then
Uh,
please, when you're home, please get in touch.
yes,
Okay,
and
get in touch. We'd love to spend some more time with you.
my
And
main conclusion.
welcome to the tribe.
Yeah,
Welcome.
welcome to, and you are truly a lioness of Judah,
You
Avideh.
are.
And I think you've been a lioness of Judah your entire life.
it's a funny thing that I mentioned that for having something positive to laugh about. Once I did a genetic test, and the results came in, and my husband was always telling me, like, why are you so involved in everything, and you never have some time for yourself, and always blaming me for being tired sometimes. And so when my the result of the test came in, the funny thing was that I have warrior genes.
Oh my gosh. There you go.
Okay, I love
Right?
it. Love it. I
I
would be
showed
putting
that to
that,
my husband, and I said, you see,
Frame
I
it.
can't help
yeah,
it.
I would be framing that
I'm
behind me. I
born
would
like
say
that.
warrior
Amazing.
genetically behind me.
I
Okay.
need to make a t-shirt of that. Yeah.
That's true. We should. We should make warrior t-shirts. I'm going to be on that. Avide, thank you so much.
Thank
Enjoy
you.
the rest of your time away with your daughter,
Thank you.
and hopefully we'll speak to you very soon. As soon as you get back, give us a call, okay?
Absolutely. I'll be
All
there.
right. Thanks.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
She almost made me cry. Like I was
Unbelievable.
like so
Yeah,
close to tears. Because I think about the women, when October 7th happened, the only thing I could think about was the babies for 2 weeks. It took me some time to get to a place where I could then think about the women and the men. All I thought about was the babies for 2 weeks. I was like so traumatized about the babies. But when I look at Iran, I've read some books. I should have pulled them before this, but I've read books written by women who have escaped from Iran, from Iranian prisons. And I'm so like I feel like so attached to these women.
yeah,
We are so lucky here
yeah,
that we have such freedom. We're
yeah,
so lucky.
yeah. Unbelievable. Like, it really does put things in perspective. I always feel like I just want to grow these like arms and just reach all the women and gather them in and keep them safe. And it's so frustrating.
Yeah, I just want to
So
stand and
frustrating
scream.
that over that there's like I just yeah. And
Yeah.
I don't understand it. I can't understand it. I can't understand what enables one person to do that to another person. I can't understand what kind of like mob psychology is going on in that part of the world that half the population can subjugate the other half like just brazenly. I
Oh, but that's like it's their religious
I don't know, but
fanaticism,
it's like
right? In any fanatical part of any religion, and I didn't want to be insensitive. I don't know if this is insensitive, but I wanted to say to her, why does anybody stay? Why don't they leave?
well, how do you leave? If, like
They
most of
can
the
leave.
most of
Families
the
can
countries
leave. There's 150,000 that walked up and down my
yeah,
Young
but
Street
it
last
takes a
two
lot of
weeks ago.
money. It takes a lot of money. And Canada's not exactly letting everybody in right now.
No, but I
Like,
imagine that there's other countries. I don't know. I don't know. If it
it
was
takes a lot
me,
of money to leave.
and I don't know because I wasn't raised there, and I don't know. I don't know, and it might be really stupid and naive, but I would want to just get the fuck out. Like get
Yeah,
out. Pack
but
my
well,
bags, go with a shirt on my back, get out.
yeah,
And
but
I
if
know
you
that that's like it's their country and they shouldn't have to leave their country. It's just my mentality. It's like I want to leave Canada because I'm so pissed off with Canada. Like and we have a really good life here. If you like what these women are going through with not just the women, right? But what the Iranians are going through with the regime is nothing in comparison to, it's the opposite. Is what
yeah.
we're going through here is nothing in comparison to what they're going through. And I want to leave.
Okay,
So
but
like,
given the economic reality of most of the people in the countries that we're talking about, let's say Afghanistan, Iran, etc.
yeah,
It takes a lot of money and a lot of time. So what often happens is they'll pick one member of the family, usually a young man. They'll send the envoy over to whatever country, the United States or Canada or wherever they can get in, Germany, who will
yeah,
then work as an Uber driver or whatever they can get and
yeah,
raise enough money to bring the rest of the family over and sponsor the rest of the family. This takes years, years and years and years to do.
yeah. You're right. You're right. I'm just so
So
angry.
the thing is that
Like,
because it's the whole region, like you can't just walk across the border. Where are you going to go?
yeah,
Where are you going to
yeah,
go?
you're right. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Like,
you can't walk to Israel.
right.
I don't know. It's
I mean, in theory, you could
I
walk
don't
to
know.
Germany, but you got to get through all the places in between.
Oh God, I just feel so sick about the whole thing. I feel so sick about the whole thing. And like,
And it feels like it's shrouded in this fog of war, this fog of internet dictatorship and blackout. And it just,
and I'm mad at myself because I've read the books, the true stories. There's a teacher, she's here, Mariam Seth. I can't remember her name right now. But I've read the stories over the last 20 years of my life, we'll say. And I never really, maybe because I wasn't an activist and I wasn't, in the world the way I have been for the last 2.5 years, I never thought about doing anything. So, how many other Canadians have read a book about one of these women and never thought about doing anything? Like, you don't
well,
think
you
about
do.
doing anything. And here we are, we're about to do something, right? We're going to take to social media, we'll start a petition or whatever it is that we're going to do as a follow up to this. But how many women know about it, but it's just a story that they read and there's no follow up? Like we need to reach, I wish we could just reach I wish we could reach every woman in Canada. Like, I guess that's my homework to anybody watching this, right? Start to share our things with other women in Canada, not just Jewish women, but like your buddies from work or the bowling alley or whatever, like whatever you do, right? Your knitting circle.
Well, Avideh's
Like,
story is not inherently Jewish.
no, but that's what I'm saying is
Yeah.
like all
So
these
this should
stories,
resonate
all
with
our stories
everyone.
that we put out into the world need to be shared outside the
Yeah.
echo chamber.
This is universal. It should resonate with everyone.
Yeah.
This is women around the world. This should resonate with everyone.
Yeah, like every woman in the world should be standing up screaming for these women right now. And for like for the women, I'm trying to get an Afghani woman
The
on
women
here,
in
but it's so
Afghanistan,
hard
I mean,
because that's crazy. Cuckoo bananas, what's going on over there, right? And I feel like no one's saying anything. You see a little bit on social media here or there, but like it,
as of
that is
now, girls
severely
in
mind-blowing.
Afghanistan, girls in Afghanistan can't go to school anymore
They
as of now.
they
And
walk
yet
around
the
like this.
women in Afghanistan, they've decided only need one eye.
So we need to try. So that's the homework. So I'm going to actually put this segment, this last patch at the beginning of our video
Okay?
because the homework, what we are, or this, the teaser, whatever, the homework is everybody needs to start sharing this so that we can help not just the women of Iran, not the women of Israel, but all women. And we need to start really pushing out to help all women. Like just
Yeah.
get other women talking about, it, get the conversation going.
Yeah. And we need to get over our cultural relativism. Okay, we need to get over this. Oh, but it's not our culture. We can't tell people how to navigate their own cultures. Okay, get over it. When people are being abused, they're being abused.
Yeah.
And the whole concept of
Yeah.
feminism is choice. You want to choose to put on a hijab, gig isn't
Go
it?
for it.
But if you are denied the choice, then cultural relativism goes out the window. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. But I'm
Yeah.
not going to support a culture that takes away a human being's ability to decide their own fate, decide the fate of their body, and decide the fate of their own self-actualization. I'm sorry, that goes out the window. Okay? And
Yeah.
and I think there are plenty of moderate Muslims. We mentioned Raheel earlier. There are plenty of moderate Muslims who will explain to you why Islam gives you that freedom of choice and why the Islamists, right, the
Take it
fundamentalist
away.
extremist Islamists are actually, skewing and twisting the principles of the
They're
religion,
bastardizing it.
correct,
Yeah.
in order to take that freedom away. So cultural relativism be damned. The minute, your freedom ends where my nose begins, and your freedom ends where every woman's nose begins. And the minute you cross that threshold, you have now become an
Yeah.
abuser, period.
Okay. All right. So we
Okay.
gotta go. We're over an hour. But thanks everyone for watching and stay tuned on next week. We're gonna have a great another we're having a Muslim. I think he's Muslim. I feel like he's Muslim. We
Okay.
met him, so he called us a while ago. I'm not going to say
Yeah.
his
Yeah.
name. I'm not going to say his name.
Okay. Well, don't
It'll
say
be
his
a
name.
surprise. But he called me to talk to me about Arabs and
Yeah.
Jews. So we're going to
Yes.
talk about Arabs and Jews.
Fine looking feller.
Oh yeah, yeah. We have husbands. We're not allowed to say that.
I love my
Uh,
husband
but
to the
uh,
end of the earth, but I'm not dead.
Yeah, we met him on the phone a while ago and again last night at Rahil's event, and we're so excited. And
Yeah.
so he's next. So
Not to
stay tuned
objectify him in any
for
way.
Arabs and Jews. We're going to talk about Arabs and Jews. Okay, bye. See you
Bye.
later.
Thank you.
Okay.